I'd like to call this meeting to order, please. Today is July the 15th, and it is our regular meeting. As we gather today, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of this committee and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. And we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. And please join me in a moment of silent reflection. And thank you. And a couple items on my mayor's address, events that I attended on behalf of the township. July the 6th was the KHR held at Station Park. On the 12th was the Golden Lake Property Association AGM. 13th was the Flotilla in Bryan's Creek. And on the 14th, we have the area mayor's meeting. The two items I really want to deal on are the OVCATO. There was over 150 participants, and they were not many of those 150 were from local people. They were from outside, and I think we did a really good job showing them our township, and it was a good welcome of those 150 people. And then this past Sunday was the Flotilla on Bryan's Creek, which was a really first time we've ever seen this. There was close to 40 participants, and with kayaks and any other type of things they wanted to float at, as we've heard and Bill talked about before. It was really a good day, and the skies held off just enough time for it to get through. And does anyone have any pecuniary or financial interest to declare?
I'll declare at the time.
And now we'll move to our delegation. Listen, yeah, please.
Thank you very much for giving me the time this evening to speak to you all. And for disclosure, Councillor Brian McCoskey is my husband. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I understand that there is some debate regarding changing the structure of our township council from 6 councillors to 4 and abolishing the ward system. And can everybody hear me? Okay. My first point is in regards to reducing the number of councillors from 6 to 4. In my opinion, this would be a mistake. In provincial and federal levels of government, there is a party system in which the elected government has an office and a cabinet of many people, more than 5 and many more than even 7. They discuss and debate changes to budget, policy, and so on to ensure that good decisions are made and brought forward. There is also an opposition party of additional voices to provide another check and balance. Even governance structures such as the school boards, your own library board, the CRC board, have more than 5 people sitting at their table to bring rigor to their decision making. Imagine what quorum would look like, what quorum would be here if there were only 5 of you. Like, come on. Like, anyways. My second point is in reference to the ward system, and this one is a little more difficult. I strongly encourage you not to demolish the ward system, which provides increased accountability for the council. I have heard and listened to a number of you say that when it comes to decision making, each one of you represents the whole township. I respect that, and I do believe that when it comes to the decision making, you do take the good of the whole township, the common good, into account when you make decisions. I agree that I understand that when it comes to the decisions. However, what I believe is that the ward system also brings a greater awareness and of the varied needs, an awareness of the understanding of the lived experience of the people and the needs of the people who live in those diverse areas of the township, such as here in the town, the businesses, the residential areas, tourist areas, waterfront, and so on, to this table. Without counselors who live in those communities and those neighborhoods, I think awareness of those unique needs and perspective might be lost before the decisions even come to the table. If that makes sense. So it's that little piece. So, and to bring it back further, imagine federal and provincial, what those politics would look like without ridings. Ridings in the province, ridings in the federal government with their representation of the MP and MPPs who live in every area of the province and the country to bring those voices to those levels of government. My belief is that wards provide a similar balance to municipal governments as ridings do in the provincial and federal governments. I'm a little bit passionate about this because 10 years ago, I was on the other side of the table arguing with my husband. He had the passion and I had a very superficial understanding of municipal governance. And I would have been arguing maybe against some of these things. And on the surface then, I understand that it looks appealing and efficient to streamline municipal governments by eliminating wards and 2 councillors. However, also there would not be an equivalence of 2/7 of a savings or efficiencies for 2 less councillors. And more importantly, 2 less voices at your table. It's the number of committee work, the number of committees, and that work that entails, the number of meetings that also impacts the cost of governance. So not just the number, you can't just divide it by 7 or 5 or 2 or whatever. The workload of 4 councillors would be greater than that of those individual 6. So the individual 4 councillors would have more work than individual 6. So the cost of each individual councillor would therefore rise. Also, and more importantly in my mind, is that there would be more power in fewer hands if you had fewer councillors at the table. More power to make weaker decisions. I'm not against change. In fact, you know, as I said, my mind has changed. 10 years ago, I disagreed. I kind of thought superficially that why not make it cheaper, simpler? And I didn't have a strong opinion, but it has been in the last 10 years through observation and research that I believe that the current structure is the most effective one. It's not always pretty, but it is effective. My great concern is that the township of KHR would go the way of some other municipalities that are at times ineffective. Why break something that is working? It's, you know, it's not always pretty, but it is working, I believe. And you know, the signs that went up this week on the Round Lake Road for the active communities. Thank you very much. I don't know who's responsible for those signs, but is Dean here? No, not tonight. So I think it's roads, so I think it would be partly his, but there's so much that is good and right about where we live. I'd hate to see that it would be broken. So thank you to all of you for your time and thank you to the staff. Magnificent departments that next door rescue that your men did. I think there were all men there that night. That was amazing. Their knowledge of how to manage a scene, an accident scene, and how to carry out that piece was quite awesome. And I think there's so much about this township that's working so well. Candidacy, you know, like the ducky race and everything. So I encourage you to keep what is good and don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Liz. Thank you for your comments. I want to acknowledge that every resident has the right to speak before council. And I really appreciate you taking the time, because this came from your heart, to share your views on on governance. Thank you.
I do believe that if you don't speak out, you don't have a right to complain afterwards. And I will complain, just saying. My husband will.
And our next delegation, Kim, please. Good evening.
Good evening, and thank you for letting me speak. I feel the same way that Liz does, but I have different eyes because we just moved here just over a year ago. And we looked at what ward we were in, and we called our counselor. And he had the time to talk to us. He actually came to our house and he spent time. And he could answer all our questions of our area. We're in a rural area. And he could relate to us, so we really like the word system. We don't really want it abolished because we found that he understood us rather than maybe the counselor from the town of Kelowna. And I've read about the counselors at large, there needs to be no ward system. And they're elected where the main population is within the municipality, maybe not, covering all the people. And losing 2 counselors would be a greater workload for the 4 counselors if we lost 2. And I've read, we looked Welland and Guelph. And when that happened and they lost counselors, they then voted themselves a raise because they had more work and more work overload. And we just feel that it would be less time spent maybe with people like us that are new and they understand the area and we call them. And we just feel that community should have a vote maybe in something that's so important rather than 1% of the community that'll decide the future for all. Maybe the community could vote for it. And more people would have a say because more counselors represent more voices. And then I was reading about that you want an independent external review of the county's financial operations and the policies and procedures, and KPMG was mentioned, and they're quite a large firm, and I just wondered what that will cost the community if it's a larger firm. And I wasn't sure of how many years they would audit, like would it be 1 year or more than 1 year, I'm not sure. So anyway, that's our concerns, and we love this community, and every time we meet a new counselor or somebody, everybody welcomes us. And unlike Liz, my husband is we would like to keep it the way it is. It works very well, and I think you all have a say, and I think more is better than less. Thank you.
Okay, well, again, same comments to Liz. Thank you. And again, every resident has the right to speak before council. And again, you can tell it's coming from your heart. We really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for that. Minutes from the previous meeting.
Moved by Smith Brown, seconded by Maureen McMillan, motion to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting July 2nd. 5, opening closed sessions, understanding closed net meeting confidential.
Questions, discussion, all those in favor? Carried. 6, Is anything we discuss in the meetings? Any additional ones? Next time we get together, can you guys, everyone give some thought to the special area meeting that we'll have? I think we had talked about August, September, but things get filled up quickly, so if you want to take a look at it and let me know or let us know the next meeting, if that's okay. I think we're looking at early September, you know, that range,
Oh, what meeting is that?
special area rate.
Okay.
Any day is good for me.
We'll September.
I will discuss next meeting.
Next time we'll discuss it.
I won't be here, so.
You're not here September? Or that whole next one's.
I might not be able to. Friday.
While we have our calendars, we want to look at our calendar.
You wanna set a date in September?
Why don't we do that? Keep in mind, that. Maureen, they usually that you're not gonna be there,
What's that?
picture that you're not gonna be, okay? When you saw it,
I'm not available the 23rd or the 4th. I got 2 days in September.
what about the second week of September?
I can't do the 9th or the 10th.
I'm good pretty well every day except the 4th and the 18th.
How about the 8th of September? It's a Monday.
I can do that.
Sure.
I'm good.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right? September the 8th. 7 o'clock? Now we'll do the special area rate, okay? And we'll move to reports. That part is flop.
Good evening, this report will be, for today from June 17th, the last meeting we had. Fire operations on June 22nd, was a tree across the road at Maple and Highway 60. We love that call, that was at 12:30 in the morning. June 22nd, CO alarm North Street. July the 8th, alarm at St. Andrew's School, that's all we had since the last meeting. Ongoing activities are the weekly truck checks, our monthly equipment checks. Recent events, we were invited to KPS to join in their water fight event, so when we turned on the hoses, that added quite a flair for that, let's say, event. July 1st, Canada Day fireworks, that was our setup, I hope you that were there enjoyed that. July the 8th, we had a bi-monthly meeting. And July 10th, I picked up the new flashing green light signs. So we'll be installing those and taking the other ones down in the short future, as soon as I get a couple hours with some guys. Did you have any plans for the old signs?
Anyone else want to sit here? I don't know if they give us a refund of,
Well, I don't think you get a refund, no, but what I'm thinking is it could be placed in areas where it's not focused on traffic. Such as the EV charging stations or maybe the visitor center, you know, something along that line, it's not a waste, yeah, I'm not gonna put 12 up, but if we had 4 or 5,
good idea.
Okay.
Yeah,
have a go for that,
sure.
all right. Yeah, so we're gonna look at the rates and the one that's already at the fountain, I'll leave that one in the current state. Upcoming events, Killu Craft and Community Fair, August 16th, we have an Irish gathering with Touch a Truck. So Bolton's working with us in the fire department to see what he wants us to bring. September 9th is a bi-monthly meeting, November 25th, bi-monthly meeting, recent training. On June 17th, we did water supply, porta tanks and highball pump. And tonight, we're working on equipment maintenance and hose cleaning. Upcoming training, we have a list here till the end of the year, I'm sure you don't want me to read all of that. But on the CEC side, the CEMC side, the Community Emergency Management Coordination Group. And that's me in this particular situation, we have a working group called KEMPO. which is IQEMPO, and I type it out here because I never remember it. It's improving the quality of emergency management programs in Ontario. Okay, so we had the fourth meeting on June 25th. And we have the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th meetings booked for the last Thursday of the next following 4 months. That's my report.
Does anybody have any questions about
I do actually. I remember a couple of years ago, council was invited to participate in an emergency planning scenario. Meeting up at the fire hall with.
I ran that, yes.
That's right. Is that something that happens regularly? Is that a one-time thing?
Well, yeah, it depends on who we want to train. It's an official training session. Generally, we're keeping it to a smaller group, which would be about 6 or 8 of us. Last year we ran 22. Everybody would see how things operated in an emergency. This year, it's actually, we're going to do a county run training exercise, training session and the exercise. And that you've all been, we're invited or that we're supposed to, that we need to participate in that. I think it's October 23rd, 25th, something like that. Okay, so that's what's happening this year. So it'll be the smaller group, but it'll be with a larger group overall.
Yeah, I forgot, I won't be out now, just so you know.
Okay, then while we're here, Dave, he is your backup. So who is your backup to the backup? If you could think about it, get back to me. Okay,
Does anybody else have any questions?
No, I just have a comment. Sparky was amazing on Canada Day. It must have been like, he was like going down the slide and like so much energy. Yeah, I know this is one of your newest recruits, but yeah, he's amazing. The kids were just like,
last one in.
yeah, yeah. No, he was incredible.
And I have a couple of points. Number one, don't be so shy. Tell us how you fared out with the 2024 EM CPA compliance result.
With which?
The 2024 EM CPA,
Yeah, we passed all 13 categories.
congratulations.
That's what we hope to do again this year.
And the 2025 fire prevention week, you sent everyone an email. Hopefully everybody saw that, read it. That students are gonna be along with the listed contributors, so that's really a good feather in our caps. So we're gonna bring those points up. You, does anyone else have anything else? Yeah. Thank you. Have a good night. Mr. Colton.
All right, so we're going to start it off with some grant program summaries.
I need to declare here.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna vote.
So I declare, Gil Smith, sorry, July 15, 2025, regular council meeting, by Bill Smith, I declare a conflict of interest with respect to the discussions regarding an application to the Bees grant. Maureen Catherine Maureen Village, July 15, 2025, I, Maureen, declare a conflict of interest with respect to the discussions regarding the application for the Bees grant.
Just so everyone knows, the reason they declared, because they're directly involved, so they have to step out.
All right, so I guess we'll start with the use program. It's so it stands for enhancing access to spaces for everyone, focusing on accessibility for public spaces and making our township more accessible. So some of the eligible projects are things like accessible kayak or canoe launches, trail enhancements, barrier-free washrooms and entrances, inclusive playgrounds, wayfinding signage, so like capital high contrast signs, and emergency evacuation supports. So the CRC has expressed interest in submitting the EASE grant application with support from the township for the installation of an accessible kayak launch in Brandon's Creek. This project offers a clear public benefit and would enhance water-based accessibility for residents and visitors in our township. Regional advisor has confirmed that this type of project aligns well with these priorities. However, she also advised that if both the CRC and the township applies, it would weaken an application on both of our parts. She advised that just one application should be submitted for a better chance of getting it. So the township has some, or I guess I have some, ideas regarding additional infrastructure that we could use that grant for, such as enhancements to Round Lake and making Round Lake, the old trail system, a fully accessible trail. The replacement of our current welcome signs in our township and putting in new ones with high visibility. And then installation of accessible swings at Round Lake Park, as well as an accessible entrance to our front door here at the township office. So all these projects are eligible under the EASE program and support the township's long-term accessibility objectives. So I guess my question to council is council's decision to support the CRC's kayak launch or kayak accessible kayak launch, or proceed with the township-led application focused on the enhancement of existing municipal infrastructure?
Open it up for discussion.
I say we go with the township structure person.
So which one of the
Oh,
ones
sorry.
that listed?
Oh, I thought you were going for them all.
No, that I wish I could, but this grant, so it is 100% funded, this grant, just for council's knowledge, and it's up to $60,000 what I can apply for. But just for council's reference, like to put an accessible ramp in the front would be that full funding amount. Because accessibility, when you build a ramp, needs to be 1/12 pitch. So the ramp would have to start wide and there'd have to be a lot of configuration in there.
Would that cover it? Would we have to?
So as far as getting like professional quotes, I haven't done that, but Dale has said that 60 grand should cover it or be pretty close to it.
Right?
I kind of agree with Carol, and I'd like to see that front entrance fixed.
So in discussions with CRC, if we decide to go our way, are they gonna not apply?
So there's nothing saying they can't. It's just like one of those things that if they apply, there's a chance that we both don't get it, you know, but there is also a chance that we will. It's just our regional advisor told us that if we are going to apply it, we should back it because this grant looks for support from communities as a whole.
So just. I'd like to do this here too, but. I just feel that if we do support the CRC. I think that would give us a better chance of getting the grant. Just from what you've.
And yeah, not that Carmen did say that.
We could go for this and not get anything, or if we have a better chance of getting this kayak thing put in. It's still a boost to the economy, it still helps the township and. If we're both on there and it is going to make chances better, I'd be allowed.
Eric?
I think,
Hang on, Carl.
oh, sorry.
I agree with the kayak and supporting CRC, and again, I would really like to see a ramp out here also. It's I can't be much not much longer though. Works in progress.
I think we'd have more chances of getting a grant for some accessibility ramp coming into the building than we would any of the other ones personally. Sorry. That's mine. Like accessibility is everything now.
Correct. Yeah. The probability, both those applications fit directly under the funding priorities for this grant. So I don't think that one has more merit over the other. I think they're both equal.
Yeah.
So I think we'd have the same chance regardless of what. From what I've read and what I've been told.
I'd say go for the ramp personally.
Me personally, I would really like this part done, but I also, in the future, if we don't. Combining, if you don't take the kayak one, I really would like us to look at that for next year. Because. The people I saw there this year at that kayak launch, that was incredible. To begin with, number one, I didn't even know that existed. Until I was there on Sunday. It's a really good venue, and we should capitalize on that venue. With other signs. Telling everybody that's there, like it's a hidden secret.
I will advise council that I would really appreciate as a decision tonight as the grants due August 14th. And if we are going to do this, I need to obtain professional quotes for that grant.
The decision's up to the mayor now because I've already voted and we still voted. So it's on him.
Okay, so show of hands. I know you said two, but show of hands to vote for the accessibility ramp here.
Well,
It's 4 days.
I know. Yeah.
So it's 4-1. 4-1 is the vote. So apply for the accessibility ramp.
Mr. Mayor,
Sorry.
I also said, first of all, for the kayak with CRC, what I would like to see around here. So actually, I'm going with the kayak one, the accessible thing.
Okay, so it's 3-2. Not voting. Oh, that vote then. But I'd like to put a little sideline there that kayak. The next year, let's look at that in the budget. That's really, I think it's a real economic development to the thing.
Does this grant come available every year, Bolton, or just?
This is the first time I have seen it, so I couldn't tell.
The other good part about this is. There's no split, it's 100% cost, right? We get fully
Correct.
recovered
Up to 6.
up to 60.
Yeah.
So it's 400.
And I want council to be aware too that if I can apply up to 60, but if our project comes back at 55, I apply for 55, I could very well only get 20. Like that is a possibility, and I want council to be aware of that.
Or we could get a quote, it could be $85,000, I mean. We'll have because we have no person.
It is 100%, but they might not give the full requested amount. Based on other projects, it's just the way they work. The same as like our Canada Day for the fireworks, I applied for the full 15, I got 6. It's 100% funded, but they only give us 6. Typically what happens is they put a large amount of pot, like whenever they come in, they put a lot of money into the pot and then they distribute it accordingly. Sometimes you get all of it, sometimes you don't. That's just the way grants work.
So is council willing? to Take that chance,
Well,
because if we get it, we do not have to accept it, but then. That grant we apply for, that's also on there too, that we turn it down, so that's a. Check mark against us.
Yeah. And I will advise council of this. If we go with the kayak launch, we're just supporting it.
Sorry?
So the township won't be applying for the kayak launch.
It'll just be supported, so there's. If it costs them $110,000. Taxpayers of the township aren't responsible for it. But.
Would council like to revote, or is that the decision we're going with?
I don't think so.
I'd say you get more chance of getting 100% for accessibility grant.
Yeah. Are we done with the?
Yeah.
All right, so the second grant opportunity that I want to make council aware of is the Rural Ontario Development Program. So it's basically a stem from the Rural Economic Development Program that Councillor McMillan and I implemented last year for the economic development videos, the promo videos, and the new website. This grant is kind of interesting in the sense that it funds some projects 50%, some projects 35%, and then different funding amounts for each project. So It gives up to 50% for economic diversification projects, and so max is at 155, so the most you can get if we got the full amount would be $75,000. Up to 35% of community infrastructure, max 250,000, don't ask me to do the math there, please. And then 35% for small business development, max at $10,000. Nice thing about this, the deadline is until September 24th. So some of the funding priorities would be safe and strong communities, so infrastructure, cellular expansion, community recreation facility rehabilitation, and housing enabling. Some examples could be parks and trails upgrades, rink retrofits, internet installation, wastewater housing. And then there's under business development, you know, small business growth, tourism support and investment and traction. So some examples could be like downtown beautification projects, innovation hubs, or tourist development. And then the third would be growing rural workforces, so youth retention, training, and then skills and trades development. Then, you know, some examples would be like digital skills training for youth, workforce housing, or newcomer integration. So I guess my next step is, does council wish for me to apply to this grant, knowing that it's not 100%, it's 50%. So if we apply for a grant, we're gonna have to cover
50%.
yeah, possibly more.
So do you have an itemized list of what you may want, a wish list?
So I can tell you what my, I guess you can call it my strategic plan, what fits into that grant. And new welcome signs, a digital welcome sign fits into that grant, trail enhancements. If I want to do new trails at Brown Lake, if I wanted to implement enhancements to our play structure in Station Park, all that fits under this grant.
I would love to see that grant used for new signage for the whole township. Like, that would be such a good grant when we talk about doing rebranding and stuff, which is something that's long been on our list, and getting some of our wayfaring sign. It's like such a good grant for that, because there's not a lot of other ones that fit that, but this one does.
So as far as that project goes, I do have I'm gonna call it 90% shovel ready project as far as I've gotten quotes and installation costs. Am I allowed to give numbers?
We don't have people in front of us, adjustment to. Until it's formal.
But it would fit in this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you have all the quotes, then that would be maybe a good fit for this, just for this one. Because I look at some of the other projects, there's other grants where they can sort of
Yeah.
fit into, but like this one's really for economic development. You know, they really liked us, they really liked our project last year.
So that would, Councillor McMillan, fit under the economic diversification project, so that would be 50% funded, max 50%.
Well, I think we should apply for that too, because we've already talked in our budgets that we need to do that for next year, so
Yeah,
even if we only get 30%, it still goes
it's
in.
still a big savings
We
for us.
have done it for the past 3 budgets.
Yeah, yeah, and it should be a priority because some of our signs are starting to fall apart, so.
And so in that bucket list of yours, you'll have signs. Is there anything else that we can group with that, or is it just a single item? We just go for signs, or can we do picnic tables also and all those kind of things?
So I can tell you that there's another grant that was out, the farm credit, and it was Acre Spirit Fund enabling accessibility. That one was 100%. And in my report, I applied for 5 accessible picnic tables and fully accessible ADOA approved beach mat in Cheryl Boyle Park for access. So
basically this one that we're looking at, the red program is just for the signage.
it could be just, it can be.
I would probably I think it would be stronger if it's like, this is what we need.
Yeah.
I don't think you wanna, you really wanna make these grant applications have to be like,
To the
you
point.
know, quite precise and.
So in that proposal, would we not just do the 3 signs, like do massive all signs?
Yeah, I think we need wall signs.
Yeah.
Like, look at somewhere like Madawaska Valley where they have like great, you know, finding signage, like, I think. We did that around here, we have so many little gems that nobody knows about because we really don't have it. But
So I think the next step would be to the home to take this. Uh. Itemize how many signs you need. Get the quotes and then. See where we're at. Like as much detail as you can give us.
And then do you want me to report to council back on that amount and then you guys decide if I go forward with the application or get the quotes and go forward with the application?
I'd say go forward. We might as well, right?
As long as you stay under 150,000. But that would be inclusive of all sites. Is everybody okay with that?
Maybe if you could just, when you get it done, shoot us an email. You don't have to think about it, just so we know.
Yeah. Or what?
I think you said it's not due until September sometime.
Correct, yeah.
yeah,
There's then got 2 more meetings at least, probably 3 more.
September.
yeah,
And come back.
Right?
Is that a 50%?
Yes, so 50%.
So we're gonna have to know how much costing, because it might be the same as the last couple of years, it might not make our budget. If we still do have signs out there, and everybody knows.
And then we can downgrade. They'll maybe just get 3 or maybe get 6 or that type of. So yeah,
We would need a cost.
Yep, I can provide that.
are you realistically, when could you have those numbers for us? I know you're gonna have them before the 24th, but. We have 1 meeting or 2 meetings before that, the 24th.
it's 3 meetings before that. We have one in early September, first week of September,
And
maybe
the
even 4.
deadline's the 24th.
Of September.
Yeah.
You know, we're not-
August, that's right, I missed them, I skipped a month. Yeah,
How soon?
so by your next time you come with us. The next meeting you come to, are you able to give us that? Yes, you'll have quotes and all that stuff. Perfect. Good.
So and then I guess the third grant was that Acre Spirit grant I was providing council with, so that's the grant that I applied for the picnic tables and the accessible beach mat for Sherwood Park, and the 5 picnic tables will be spread through our township. Fourth is the OTF seed grant. So that grant is 100% funded. I guess you can call it a coaching call with one of the reps from the OTF seed division. And I informed her, kind of told her about what I'm thinking, and that's getting a new portable trailer. It fits under one of their priorities where it's economic inclusion as well as arts, culture and heritage, and fostering healthy active lifestyles. I think that it could be a fit under it. The question I have for council is, does council wish for me to apply for that grant under the mindset of fixing our old stage or getting a new one?
I think that old one was beyond repair. I think from. It was in rough shape.
You'd have to tear it off. Yeah, it started at the bottom of the frame. It should be, when we started to build it, it was never supposed to be that big and that heavy to start with.
Yeah,
And then just kept adding on and adding on. The frame is like this. So. But not worth putting too much more money into it.
I don't want to speak for Harold, but I can almost tell you for sure that Harold and I did not want to participate in a rebuild. After doing the last one.
There was an idea I had about bringing that stage to Round Lake and just leaving it there permanently, so Round Lake could have a stage, because the stage is fine once it's up, you know?
yeah.
But no, we need some new shingles on it.
Yeah.
And at least one set of the doors that always come off, they can be replaced with the skin on them. The rest of it, they're not being moved. It'll be fine. Then I don't have to build a platform.
That'll be it.
I think that's a great idea, moving the stage around like. You'd be able to accommodate that? In your chambers?
I'm sure they can.
So I'm just looking for council's direction. Is that something that they want me to go, you guys want me to go forward with?
Can I see a show of hands, please? So did we get back to, you're gonna apply for this grant, for a new one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And where do you start as far as applying for a grant for a new one?
So I've already contacted companies out of like Toronto area, as they actually have pre-made portable stages. As far as like cost, I have rough ideas. But I know for sure that we'll have to do things like we'll have to get someone to wrap it in our KHR colors and have our letterhead on it. And then I'm assuming that we'll have to get an electrical company to hook it up so we can get electricity there. So those are two main costs, but I'm. Right now, where my head's at is we'll fit under that $100,000 to do that.
Great.
So while we're on grants, the OTF capital grant we were unsuccessful in. That was for the Round Lake renovation of the paving, new boards and sonotube installation. Which is unfortunate, but I'm hoping for next year we can get it. Moving on to the Visitor Information Center. Little update, so far through our KPIs, we've had 650 visitors to date, 263 have been from out of town. And then some furthest travelers have come from Chicago, Guelph, Napanee, Ontario. Some frequent inquiries are asking about Wi-Fi access and a crosswalk, so just letting the council know. There is a maintenance issue that I've coordinated with our asset manager. Regarding the door threshold, which is just like the plastic trim piece at the bottom of the door is cracked, so me and Dale are coordinating to get that fixed. Canada Day recap, so throughout the whole day, we had 1,112 attendees. We had 83 participating in the duck race, and we had 650 people for the headliner and fireworks display, which was pretty good numbers. So some key attractions were live music, inflatables. We had a local vendor doing a fundraiser for a skating group, and of course the fireworks. I'd like to give a big thanks to the Public Works Fire Department for setting it up, and to our volunteers who dedicated their time and gave up their day off to come out and help. I think we had over 23 volunteers, which is awesome to see for our township, and it's something that I'm really proud of, and I hope we continue to grow our volunteer base, and because they really do power communities, and it's great to see. We were on budget, and it was a strong tourism draw and community engagement, so I was really happy with Canada today. So the Killaloo rink update, I don't know if council remembers or not, but I budgeted Lexington strips for a Killaloo rink. And basically, they're just these see-through, I guess you can call them plexiglass panels that you'll put on the existing boards for advertisements. Valley Auto Glass has waived our cutting fee, which is very generous of them, so big thanks there to save us some money. So I guess the next steps, I've already done like I guess you can call it like a preliminary call to some businesses around our township, as well as expanding townships, to see if they want their business advertised. I have a lot of engagement, so I'm confident we'll be able to fill those 7 boards. I will be providing council with an updated advertising agreement and policy. If council approve, I will move forward with promotion and implementation of the rink ordinance. The agreement and policy, I'm not sure when it will be done, but it's I will provide it to council once it's done via email, and that can be reviewed. Just making sure that our council is okay with that for the next steps.
Hey, any questions?
Oh,
I'm not done. You're not done?
There's some questions. With the, putting that on the boards, was that do anything with our warranty on those boards that were installed last year?
No, there's already advertising slips on them.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just adding more. There's 2, I think there's 2 on right now. I'm just ordering more to get.
I think, we should maybe send a letter to Valley Auto Glass under township. Letterhead, thanking them for your help.
And just a couple more things, as you can see, I ordered some new KHR swag that I've been bringing out. Pens and keychains, and I'm in the works right now of ordering more with Sandra Ruski, EV Bonisher Mounds, and we are hoping to get some fun stuff for our township. And then lastly, the Golden Lake AGM, I had a really good time, met some new faces, some familiar faces, and it was just great to see a neighboring, neighboring community doing so well, and it was interesting to see their perspective on things, and nice to meet some new faces.
And thank you, Mr. Holmes. I have three things. We weren't here at the last meeting, but volunteers for your candidate. I don't know how you ended up with so many great volunteers, but congratulations. It made your life so much easier, and it really made all the events get so smooth. And it was noticeable. And there was even this little pet that appears walking around too. Little dog had a volunteer sign up. It was awesome. And congratulations to you, because it just doesn't happen. They don't fall off trees. So you've had to work to get this. So, the other comment I had to make was in regards to the flowers. I'm not a flower guy, but I'm telling you, these flowers look awesome. The work that's being put into our gardens and our bridge, second to none. So that's a very positive.
I'll translate that to our staff.
Please do. And the Golden Lake AGM, ourselves and Bosher Valley were the two hits at the AGM. Colton and his counterpart from Bosher Valley, and Harold was also there assisting. You guys stole the show. Everybody after the event, and all I heard is how well you guys handled yourself. So tip of the hat to you. Now you can go home. Bye.
Is there any more questions from council? No?
I always go last, so we'll see you later.
Thank you.
Good evening.
In Boston. I have a question on you. Did we receive an event permit for the 2025 Kilo Craft Fair?
Yes, we did.
Moving on. Family accounts. Questions? No.
I had to ask my bookkeeper why CRC got a $4,910. For the rehab of the grant program.
It was a check mark on my list, but I didn't want to ask.
Oh.
Okay, moving on. Anybody have anything with committee reports?
I can report, as chair of HR committee, I met with, Tammy and the mayor and, Tyler to review applications for the CDO, position, and we have selected a number of candidates for interviews and we'll be interviewing tomorrow. If we're successful, we would like to bring a resolution, regarding hiring to the next council meeting.
Is there many applicants put in?
I don't remember the total number. We had a good number that were fully qualified and then some that had some interesting qualifications. So we're starting with, interesting.
There's probably close to 15.
Not everyone starts that role with the full set of skills, so.
Anyone else? Okay, moving on to correspondence. County Renfrew, project update. County of Renfrew, the height of the road. KHR monthly update, want everyone to know. We have 4 towers that are in service now, they're all in service. So, which is really good. In Renfrew County, there's 82 that are up and 66 are completed, so things are moving quickly, and which is a real benefit to everybody. Last one, Inspector General. Voluntary. I know we just got this tonight. Maureen, do you have anything to say on this?
I don't read that fast, Dave.
You have a meeting coming up, right?
We have a meeting on August the 11th here.
We can hardly wait to hear your report.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
And we're moving to bylaw.
Moved by Ted Brown, second by Bill Smith, that bylaw number 27/2025 being a bylaw to establish remuneration rights for members of council for the corporation of the township of Fillmore, Liberty and Richards, be given its first, second, and third reading and finally passed its 5th day of July 2025.
Questions or discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Moving on to unfinished business. The first item is fish stocking. My opinion is that this initiative will provide a significant boost to our local economic development, particularly in terms of tourism and recreation. I think we've all been through the reviewing of the documentation and the presentations. Does anyone have any other discussion they would like to have? Or questions? If not, I would like to make a recommendation that we move forward and participate in the proposal that's outlined for the next 5 years. So 2025 would be $8,500, 2026 would be $8,500. And then 27 and 28 and 29 would be 55, 25 each respective year. I think we've done this before in our municipality, and I believe, yes, it was not budgeted for, but we'd have to set up a line on our provisional budget to include that. There'd be no budget, but there'd be an actual cost of $8,500 for this year. So that's my recommendation. Any discussion anybody have on that? Yeah,
So already if I ask Scott a question.
sure.
So $8,500 for this year, so they'd actually be stocking it this year? They're not talking
No,
this
so the way it works is this year in October, they would actually collect eggs, MNRF would collect eggs.
Okay,
They would go to the fish hatchery and then they'd be reintroduced in October of 26.
okay,
And that's the cycle, but they need to have half of the amount of the cost of the eggs paid at the very beginning when they collect. So MNRF collects them, we transport them to the fish hatchery in Bancroft, and at that point, they obviously need to be paid half up front because they're gonna carry the cost until they're reintroduced to the lake.
Yeah, so then I could redo that recommendation to say $4,250 if we approve it, and then $4,250 after.
Actually, it would be on the front end, because on the back end that's whenever anglers and hunters pays. So that's the way, they don't pay on the front end, they only pay on the back end.
Okay.
So what happened is half of the cost, which that's what they're looking to pay, they pay it once it's being reintroduced.
So I'll stick with the same recommendation on those. We won't get it high enough. Any other discussion? Okay, let's have a vote. All those in favor? 6, 7, perfect, thank you. The next item is the CD3 mobile wireless cleaning system. To be honest, I'm uncertain about this item. I really appreciate hearing more perspectives from council before forming a position. And I'm also unsure whether this is something we should be taking responsibility for, as it appears to me, it is an M&R issue. But I'm open for conversation, please. And I'm just having a real tough time weighing this.
So what are we discussing? Are we
Whether to participate
in a rental and buying it or what?
like the first year would be a rental fee plus the bottle cost.
No, that's total.
That's total.
Yeah, so I think it was 4,300 or 4,300. That's total inclusive. The only thing is tax.
And then the year after, we'd have to make a decision as far as to pay the other 30.
If you want to purchase it, yeah, you don't have to purchase it. There's no force thing. It literally would be hooked on and taken away, so.
So I'm open. Please talk.
So then,
I think,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I think we should try it on the rental for the first year and see what kind of use we get out of it and how it works for us, and then make that decision on purchasing it after that. And M&R is not gonna do it. I might as well forget that. If they don't do it on any other lake, they're not gonna do it on Round Lake.
I just thought I'd put that in there.
It's all the people that live in Round Lake and our community that doesn't want zebra mussels or any other species in the lake, so we have to take some initiative and set something up.
And this is a question for Scott again. You'll just have to remind me, is that 100% being paid by the taxpayers or is the association?
So the association, we're looking at raising some funds for it as well. I've also approached other townships and other associations, so Golden Lake, Lake Clear, Pog, all the other ones. And there's the potential that in some areas, what they do when they rent it is actually, because it's on a trailer, it can go to different lakes. So, you know, take for example, when we have a fishing derby, Harold said, well, something like 60 boats or.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're having a major event, having this there front center, it can be used. Likewise, if something's happening on another lake and they want to do that, you know, we can look at a co-funding model in terms of some other lakes or other associations want to use it. That might be something to look at for the future. For this one, for this term here, I don't have a specific number in mind for what we could assist with the rental, but I'm sure we could come up with something. I don't think it needs to be totally borne by the township.
Yeah, like I'm not big on sharing stuff with other townships, but I think something like this. If we could, where you could do these tournaments and stuff on the other lakes, it would help with the costs. I think it was better for everybody, but.
And there's interest, there's definitely interest from the other associations for sure.
Probably they're waiting for someone to take the initiative.
That's what they said to me, yes.
The question for Scott. Can you refresh my memory about, is it the user that's gonna operate it, like the boat owner that's gonna operate
Yes,
it?
so there isn't, so I've spoken to other locations that have had these machines in place. 100%, there's a higher usage frequency whenever there's a volunteer there helping them, of course, it's the same as everything else. But it is a user-friendly machine, there is instructions on it, so it does, you know, and it's totally solar powered, so the thing is, it's not like there's connections and things like that. But it is a total user interaction, so if nobody was there, there's nothing stopping you from using it. And from a usage thing, we were saying after the rental period, it does give us all the metrics in terms of, this is how many times it was used, this is the time of day. This was used at nighttime when the lights came on so the person could use it, so it is a 24-hour a day availability. But it is, the user can use it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you did mention that, like, if there was a tournament or something. You try to get a volunteer from the association to man it for us,
Absolutely.
like they.
And the other associations have said that as well, you know, whenever it's in their area, they'll try their best to get somebody to man it if possible, especially in derbies and things like that.
Brian,
Yeah.
Brian, you had another question?
That was same question Ted just asked.
So just one,
I just have a comment. I just think Round Lake is the gem like of our township and it needs to, you know, I appreciate the initiative to protect this body of water that really is like, you know, major drawing attraction for our tourism, our economic development. So to protect that, I think should be paramount.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Scott, just so council understands, so if council votes yes tonight, it's $4,100 plus tax. Now, the rental period is from May to September.
Correct.
So what would happen this year, or is this till next year?
Next year.
Next year. Yeah, so we'll be voting on something for next year. So
I think it's a good idea.
well, it's something.
Doing the way Brian said, around.
He's having to try at it and see what, how it turns out for 1 year anyway.
It's worth the gamble.
I wouldn't mind, I know it's hard to get our head around, you said that it'll give us all the statistics of
Yes.
how much it was used.
Yes.
I'd really be interested, I have no idea how it could be collected, how much it's not used, like what percentage of the time it can be used.
Yeah.
I don't know how you could ever do that,
Well,
but
it's just,
we have a year to figure it out.
it really, and actually, I've seen some of the data that comes from it, so it'll basically say what tool was used.
Yeah.
How long it was used, the only ongoing maintenance, as I mentioned before, which that we'd ever be, is that they have to pump out the tank, it's like a sewage tank. But I mean, it'll tell you that the vacuum was used, or the what tools were used from the machine at what time. So it's pretty precise in that respect. And to answer Ted's question before, there's a GPS on it, so if you're worried about somebody unauthorized borrowing it, it's also tracked that way.
Yeah.
And I misspoke the last time, actually, the Invasive Species Center in Sault Ste. Marie brings it, and they also take it back, so there's no obligation on us whatsoever of movement of it, other than if there's any movement within our area that council decides to do, then that's on us.
So that 4,100 would be payable this year or next year?
Next year.
Next year, okay. So, can I see a show of hands?
Well, next year, if
Want to participate? Unanimous. Good thing you came tonight.
Mr. Chair, if I may. Councilor Brown, you managed to get the court stuck on your feet, and you may be pulling equipment off here in a second. Thank you. You're welcome.
Let's move closer there. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Then we might have heard a cuss word. Or we might have heard a cuss word.
You might have, you might have.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to new business. First item is, it's not on the agenda. So, probably 3 or 4 meetings ago, when they announced John Yakubus's retirement, I had asked council if I could go to the Katawawa for his retirement, etc. And Brian has suggested he may be interested, and it never materialized, but the cost was $150. So, having said that, the next opportunity came up to go to Rankin, and that cost was $75. So is council still the same opinion that they will cover our expenses? We're saving 50% of the cost. So, and also Councilor Brown also attended, so would council be willing to? I know he's made comments already, but if the possibility is there, so we're looking for the approval, that's all. It is a different location, it's half us discussion. You can make your statement, sure.
So I don't want council to pay for mine, I went to inspect for Mr. Yakubowski. I don't feel that the taxpayers should be paying for us to go out for an evening of fun. We do get a quite substantial honorarium every year, so. I don't think we should be paying for it, that's my.
So
Personally, I can't imagine how any of it like that could be fun.
it was not. It was not. It was more or less. I don't know, me personally, I know because of the position and the township, the representative, so. We didn't have a vote on it.
Well, I need to know if I'm approving it.
I'm happy to if it was me voting, I'd be happy to cover
Okay,
any of
let's
those
do-
expenses if they submitted an expense claim.
Let's do a show of hands, how's that? Yes, to approve it.
Something.
Well, why do we approve it?
Yes, to
Paper
approve it.
and there is thing,
Agreed. Oh, for everybody else.
well, that's not reasonable to.
Okay, under new business.
Everybody else is.
Under new business, the first item is communication policy. This is mainly information for everyone in regards to giving council members that were not within the committee. So this is being forwarded by the to council by the chair of the policies and procedure committee. The committee has completed its review, and you will note that certain sections are struck out, struck through, indicating deletions or recommended changes from the committee. Council members are asked to review the document and bring forward any additional suggestions or revisions for discussions. There's one item that I know we've had discussion, but there's one item that just doesn't sit well with me, and that is the I had originally suggested to put in there is from the 2-day turnaround as far as a question from either a ratepayer or the media, et cetera. Changing this to a reasonable length of time is vague, it's subjective. What exactly is considered reasonable? That would be the question. I'm having a tough time with that section, so if anyone wants to add anything to it, be more than happy to. Council, please go through it. And we'll bring this back next meeting, and any further changes, I'll implement them and pass them on to Stan.
Can I make a comment about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read it. I don't disagree with the notion that we could have a communication policy. I don't think it's the highest priority, but I think it's, I don't disagree with it. In reading this, it feels like a bit of a, like it's just a bunch of things thrown together. It doesn't read like other township policies. It doesn't read like a professional document. It reads really like something that's been put together through collaboration of a bunch of people without, it's not a coherent policy. I think if council wants a communications policy, we might be better served by asking staff to go and do the appropriate research and bringing back a document that staff supports. It's typically it would be staff's job to do this, and it's our direction to provide governance.
This was the first kick at it.
Yep.
I really felt that 2025, things have changed so much now, and I think it's imperative to have something like this. Right?
The policies and committee we did not agree to this policy, but no one was agreed to. That's what I was just stating.
So I think we could have a policy. I don't think this is the answer.
Okay.
And that's just my opinion. Thank you.
I have a question for Tom, you can hear this, so this was turned down at a policy procedure meeting. It was brought to council, does that have to be voted on tonight?
It depends on, what council wants to do, if council still wants to have time to review it and to come back with suggestions, or, council, can not approve it if they wanted to, but it's as a whole. I do have a resolution prepared because I did provide the, document prior for review. So I'm not sure how council wants to proceed with that.
Well, my opinion, it would be up to Bill. That's where Bill, Maureen, Brian, because the three of us have already voted against it, so if they need more time.
Yeah, I just picked up my package yesterday because I was really busy, so I would just like, if I could have time, I just like to see what else is out there. Because, yeah, I agree with you, it just, yeah, it's not as coherent as I would expect a policy to be, so. Yeah, I would just like some time to do some research and see like what are other people using,
This is my first kick at the cat, so.
yeah,
But I don't want to do the research.
yeah.
Then I would ask if it's getting put over, that it would be put over to 2 meetings from now, because that's meeting I am definitely away and Maria
Yeah.
will possibly be away.
That's,
Yeah,
that's, it's not something that has to be done yesterday. So,
Yeah. Ryan is ready to vote right now, or you want, still want to redo?
I would just like a little bit of time
Okay.
with it, if that's okay.
and then if we follow Counselor Smith's suggestion to search out to do the document, like more
To
formal,
have staff prepare. a
have
document.
staff prepared.
That would be a different than this.
Yes,
I
totally.
mean,
Yes,
we already have this.
Yeah.
You can vote on
Yeah.
it now.
so would we like to do that, issue, have staff prepare one?
I don't think until
I-
we, I don't think that's necessary until we,
Go through this first and
Yeah.
get this settled.
Yeah.
Or we-
Maureen wants more time.
I would just like some time, like I haven't even really had time to fully digest it, so I just need a little more.
So, we put out for 2 meetings.
So that would be the first meeting in September, that will be discussed.
August 20th.
Third meeting, or second meeting in August.
But if it's for 2 meetings,
No, to the second.
Just till August 20th.
Okay, next one. External review of township operations. Council, you've had 2 weeks to review both the rationale and the proposed scope of this review. Let me remind you, this is not a review of general township operation. It is specifically a review of financial operations focused on policies and procedures. It is important to recognize that in any bureaucracy, especially over time, there's a natural tendency to protect established practices and resist change. That's why external reviews of this nature are both predictable and necessary to ensure accountability and efficiency. Recommendation before you is clear. I am requesting that the CEO prepare a report that outlines the process for securing this financial review, estimated costs involved, and a proposed timeline for completion. This is the first step to a path forward. Discussion, please.
Yeah, so. So here comes the grant. So. In that other information you gave us, you adjusted that the 2024 budget would be reviewed.
2024 policies and procedures, which if they're gonna do that, then that's.
Not at all. No, you said budget.
I'm looking at it right here. You said. I also request the CAO to prepare a report outlining the process for securing the review, estimated costs and a proposed timeline for completion.
He's also talking there about the budget,
Well,
having it reviewed.
review of financial records and accounting practices in 2024.
So
And strictly policies and procedures. And if that encompasses the budget and the actual, that's what they would look at. But it's to deal with policies and procedures.
And it still says. Review financial records and accounting practices for 2024.
Yep.
So it's still the budget.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, if that's what it takes, yeah. Review the records.
Did you pass the budget in 2024?
This is a review. This is a review of policies. No, this is a review of policies. That's all this is.
How many tens of thousands of dollars is this gonna cost?
I know it's one thing that's listed here, estimated costs.
Well, I know, but
Oh,
you're not gonna get an independent. Say PMG to come in and conduct an external review of the township. That will be tens of thousands of dollars.
I think that's what most of us are concerned about, is the cost, the potential cost.
This step here right now is to give direction to staff to vote and do the process for securing the review, estimated costs, and proposed timeline.
I believe, I know that we hire an outside auditing firm. And part of their job is to audit our books at the end of the year, and we do that. They also do something called a procedure audit each year, where they come in and they like at a midpoint during the year, and it's a bit of a lengthy thing, but the auditors send someone in. So this is a person not related to us from the outside who comes in and goes through all of our policies to make sure that we're applying them appropriately, we're following them appropriately, that we're doing what we say we're doing in our public documents. So I can't see how this is significantly different than that. And I'm concerned that it would just be duplicating efforts, spending more taxpayer money. Yeah, that's where I stop.
Sure. I don't think we need it. To be honest with you, I don't know. Where how many got it up about stuff might not be true. What's going on? So why would we have to spend it like somebody else like tens of thousands of dollars? I mean. Unless somebody's come up and said. I don't trust what's going on, I want something done,
Well, first off,
and it hasn't come to me.
they've been doing our books for 25 years.
And
Well,
we haven't had that problem with it. The only reason it's coming up now is because it was put on in Renfrew Hospital. Which the guy working on our books has nothing to do with that incident to start with.
no, their company, their policies are used. So
25 years they've been doing it, right?
for us, they're saying. And Redford Hospital was 38.
When we had our budget meeting on March 17th. And correct me if I'm wrong. Did our accountant not tell us that he does it all? 3 people from their office confirms it.
Go over it.
There's an independent person, contractor comes in and approves it. And a person from the ministry goes over it and approves it. So to me, if that firm is not doing it correctly, either the independent or the ministry is gonna catch that and then look after it at that point. So I have a hard time spending taxpayers' money to do something that I feel is gonna accomplish something.
And I wanna say it's so the Renfrew Hospital is a $72 million budget versus ours, like, I think it's it might be a lot easier to, to do things with a budget that big. Ours isn't that big. We see every year where every dollar goes, and it's like, there's nothing in our budget when we go through that whole process that sends off alarm bells in my mind. Everything is like, we go over it and over it and over it.
But it's not a matter of where things are going, it's a matter of a practice or a procedure. It's not where money goes, the addition or subtraction of any numbers. Take for example, 2 organizations within Renfrew County went to a different auditing firm to do the same thing. One was ORPG, and they changed their whole system and came up with a difference. What was it, Carl, $80,000 to $100,000, something like that? And this past weekend at the Golden Lake Property Association, they went to a different auditor. Renfrew County, for no reason at all, the previous auditing firm decided not to do the county anymore. So the county switched to KPMG and they saved hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's not a matter of looking at the numbers or that type of thing. It's a matter of just the procedures, like here's an example. No, don't laugh. Here's an example.
I got something
To us. So for us, one policy or one procedural change last year could have cost our taxpayers $86,000. With the water and wastewater. If we would have plugged that by doing money out of reserve, that money would have been borne by the taxpayer. That was just one change. And I'm not saying there's other changes, but there could be other changes. Carl?
You said, Otter River Power got rid of KPMG, right?
No, they were a different one. They went to.
Oh, Otter River Energy Solutions.
Yeah, they went to their company.
And save that? So, if they saved 100,000 from KPMG by switching to another one, so we're gonna get them in and they're not gonna, how are they gonna save us money? Because the other one's got rid of it and saved 100,000.
I don't know if they switched from KPMG to the,
Yes, they did,
They did.
I'm there.
so.
Sounds to me like Bill said, we already have that going on all year. We have people coming in throughout the year. Checking
The procedural.
procedure and all that stuff. So sounds to me like you wanna spend a whole pile of taxpayers' money to do the same thing. And you keep saying about saving all this money, but it could be the other way. You didn't mention that we could spend $50,000 doing this. And they're gonna say everything's fine, looks great,
But we're not at that.
best you
stage
can
yet.
do.
We're not at that stage.
Worked
yet.
for 25 years and they haven't had an issue until the last year or two.
We're not at that stage yet. The stage we're at, whether to give the CEO or staff.
You know,
I
permission
don't
to source
think we
this out.
should be spending taxpayers' money that frivolously.
Because there's gonna be quite a cost for their staff to do all the.
Any other comments? So we put this to a vote. A recorded vote, please. Whether to ask staff to. Securing the process to secure the financial review. Estimated costs involved. And a proposed timeline for completion. So the recorded vote, please.
Oh, question again, anyone know any good jokes? Not you.
I got a good one.
No, not you, I would just.
I just wanna tell everybody, we're out golfing Saturday. Brian's looking for his ball, and he takes off and leaves me in the middle of the damn golf course, and made me walk. Not when it was 35 degrees out there.
This is about part of the whole golf day.
So if I go, moved by Ted Brown, second by Bill Smith, that council for the township of Killu, Hagerty and Richards hereby directs staff to prepare a report to engage an independent third-party consulting firm to conduct comprehensive external review of the township of Killu, Hagerty and Richards financial operations, policies and procedures as it pertains.
No, I would like it to read the process for securing the financial review.
As it pertains to the process,
Estimated costs
just a minute, the process
for securing the financial review.
I just wanna make council aware that my name is on there. But the only reason it's on there is because if we don't sign it, it will not come to the table and it will just keep getting carried on.
So process for securing the financial review, estimated costs,
That was fine.
Like Laura wants to know, it's not as though that's it.
Okay, I'll read the resolution one more time, moved by Ted Brown, second by Deb Smith. The council for the township of Killeen, Hagerty, and Richards hereby directs staff to prepare a report to engage an independent third-party consulting firm to conduct a comprehensive external review of the township of Killeen, Hagerty, and Richards' financial operations, policies, and procedures as it pertains to the process for securing the financial review, estimated costs, and proposed timelines. Recorded vote, Mayor Mayville?
To do?
Yes, yes or no?
Yes.
Councillor Brown?
No.
Councillor Keel?
No.
Councillor Levine?
No.
Councillor McMillan?
No.
Councillor Prokowski?
No,
Councillor Smith?
No.
Next one. So I have a statement to read. I regretfully acknowledge council's decision to deny the staff the opportunity to conduct preliminary research into the potential engagement of an independent accounting firm to undertake a comprehensive review in regards to the township's policies and procedures of financial operations. The proposed initiative was not extraordinary. It was prudent, fast, forward-thinking, measure rooted in a desire to strengthen transparency, improve efficiency, and ensure that the township of Killeen, Hagerty, and Richards is meeting the highest standards of modern municipal governance. Independent third-party reviews are widely accepted best practice across Ontario, used by municipalities to demonstrate accountability and instill public confidence. Council's refusal to permit even the initial step of researching available options is, in my view, a missed opportunity. It undermines our responsibility to pursue continuous improvement and sends an unfortunate message to the public that the township may be unwilling to subject itself to objective scrutiny. Let's move on to the next one. Council composition and reward system. Council, you have had now 2 weeks to consider the recommendation I put forward. There was an undeniable fact in the 2022 election. Our voters sent a clear message. Many chose to elect representatives from outside their own wards. That wasn't accidental. It shows they were thinking beyond narrow ward lines and focusing on township-wide leadership. We also can't ignore the fact that half of this council, 3 of the 6 members, reside in Killeen. The idea that the current board structure is maintaining fair and balanced representation is no longer desirable. Example, Ward 2, 372 people voted for Councillor Keel. Ward 3, 309 people voted for Councillor Levine. That's a total of 681 people who chose to go outside their boundaries. Then there's the financial reality. Reducing council would save this municipality $37,500 every year. That's $150,000 over a 4-year term. Money that could be put directly into roads, infrastructure, for services. And as for workload, I presented the analysis. Each councillor's responsibilities would rise from 570 to 855, which is a difference of 285. The increase is entirely manageable and reflects the efficiency we should expect from our elected officials. Let's discuss. Who wants to go first? Councillor Smith.
I've spoken to this issue before, I strongly support this. I also have a lot of respect for Liz and for Township. Liz, who up until a couple of weeks ago was also my boss. So I can acknowledge that. And I listened to your comment. I like to hear the sentiment. I heard it was likely, I would say, when I was campaigning in 2022. To come and sit at this table as the guy who was at Megden. I heard this issue over and over again. we don't need 4 counselors to represent us. Also, I heard, or we don't need 6 counselors, 4 will do, why do we need that many for such a small municipality? I hear the argument or the suggestion that the workload is going to be higher, and I think probably the workload will be a little higher. I also don't think that the workload of council is onerous, or I certainly haven't found it to be. I think that there is a potential that the future council, if it works for people, might increase their wages to compensate for that increased work. I can't imagine that that increase would equal or even come close to the amount of money that we'd save by having fewer counselors. I think there'd be an efficiency in the decision-making process. And I can say that I have, we all say, oh, we represent all people, but in my almost 3 years sitting around here, representing people, I probably equal number of calls from people inside the ward and outside the ward. So I'm truly representing everyone, anyone who gives me a call. And a lot of people in Ramsey seem to only give me a call. So I appreciate it. I know that that's may not my opinion may not carry the majority of the vote, but I want to speak out on it.
Harold. Okay, if there's any change, and again, I'll say it again. Phone calls from all over, it's not just from Ward 3, not just from Ward 1 or Ward 2. We all answer the calls when we get them. And try to look after them. Then we can talk to the other councillors about it. And again, as for cutting back councillors. The people that are gonna be left are gonna be run off and they're not gonna be able to do this. Also have family like everybody else. It's not 24 hours a day on the road. So. That's my thought. Lori.
So I have long held my opinion that I would like to the amount of counselors reduced and the ward system as well, but I really feel it's important to put this to our voters who essentially pay our wages and pay for us to be here with your tax dollars. So I'm not sure the decision that we could be making. And I don't know how that can be done. I mean, one of our arguments the last time was the cost of it. Could this be something that could be added to the ballot the next time? To, so that maybe in the next 4 years, we still have whatever the 6 counselors, but the next time, if the public votes, to not have that, can we come up with a creative way to put this in your hands? Because I don't feel like I should be making this decision. This should be your decision. Yeah, you're our bosses, all of you sitting here and everybody listening,
So
you're our
the
bosses.
deadline is January 1st. I agree with Maureen.
Yeah. So,
Maybe it's an alternative section where we could even, have, well,
2 town hall meetings in the next 6 weeks, or, that's it. I'm just throwing that out. Okay,
But I think it has to be a ballot of some kind. I don't know how other municipalities have done this, but I most do they defer the decision to the public. So this shouldn't be a decision of the 6 of us because, it's not fair. We're too limited.
right.
What are you gonna do with 4? When you have 4 counselors, you're gonna be less limited, or more limited, yeah.
Well, there are certain decisions though that should go to the public, and I think this is one of them.
That's one of the reasons why I'm for keeping 6 counselors. Because I strongly believe that the 6 heads are better than 4 anytime. At any discussion, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me to see groups like the CRC board meeting or how many do you have on that?
Well,
More than 6, double, to make decisions. The library board has more than 6 to make decisions. And you wanna cut back on the number of municipal councillors who are making some of the most important decisions. Doesn't make sense to me. And to a lot of the ratepayers I've been listening to. Also, the ward system, I just want to mention at this point too, so Sunday evening, I got a call. Just got in from the field, I get a call that there's trees across Red Rock Road, so they couldn't get a hold of our roads guy, so I went to have a look at the trees, made the phone calls I needed to. And the next morning, I get talking to the guy again, it was Mask from Red Rock Road. Anyhow, he said, thanked me for doing what I did. Made the phone calls, the trees were knocked off on Sunday night yet, and it was after supper and it was hot. They did get them cleared. So just out of curiosity, I asked him, why did he call me? And not Councillor McMillan or Councillor Smith or Councillor Brown? He says, well, you're in this ward. You know the area and you know what I'm talking about, he said. I said, thank you very much. I just wanted to hear your reason. Yeah.
That was a good letter I got from him, that was good.
Did you get a letter too?
Carl, I totally agree with Brian, like. I've had people call me and people say the ward system. Well, I don't care if you live in Pellew. You call me. I've got calls from a lot of different people. And we represent Ward 2. And I don't look at it as a ward, I look at it as a township. We really represent everybody. And I think that's the way I feel about it anyways.
Councillor Brown.
No, I promise. So when I first ran for council, I was against the ward system. And I was also against 6 councillors back then too. This will sort of go on what you're saying about the public has a right to. And I agree to that to an extent. But 90% of the people that are going to fill that survey out or whatever it is, they have no idea what this entails, no idea. So it's easy for them to sit there and say, we don't need 4 or 6 councillors, we need 4, but they've never sat here. They don't know. Another reason I like the 6 councillors, and I've seen it on multiple occasions, where 4 or 5 have an idea and then the 5th one brings something up. Or the 6th one brings something up and it brings another different eyes on it and it changes people's minds. Because we're making big decisions here. We're just normal people that work normal jobs and got in this to make it a better community. So I'm against going to 4 and I'm against the ward system now that I've been in this position. It is open, anybody can run anywhere. We could have 2 people or representing Ward 1 that live in Round Lake if they took names and get elected. But I'm against it.
Mr. Mayor, you ran in Ward 1 time,
The very first time, yeah.
Ward 1, you're from Round Lake.
I know it saves money, but I don't think it's gonna save as much as you claim. There's all kinds of ways that we can save money. $75 going to Paul Yakubowski's thing, there's $75 they could save at the parish.
I did save 75.
75.
So. Instead of putting this to the vote, we want to defer this until. We come up with a plan as far as how we would solicit what the people are saying.
Well, that's what I would like to do. I have to disagree with you because we had 2 people here tonight who clearly feel a different way about the word system than I do. Like, that's why I think it's important, you know? We had 2 people here. We didn't have one single person say that they want the word system gone. In fact, we had like the very opposite. I think the public is actually like quite smart, and I would expect that if they have a feeling about it, they're gonna vote with their, you know, not just thinking it's gonna save money. I think we have to give them a little more credit. Not all,
No,
but
I-
those,
I-
the majority, yes, I think we have to give people more credit, like, we have intelligent people in
I
it.
know how people vote. There's people that voted our last mayor, for example. It didn't matter at the time, and I'm nothing against it, but it didn't matter at the time that it was. And they told me they wanted our last mayor out, they didn't care about anything else. And that's how people are gonna focus, in my opinion, this, people are gonna focus. On the similar to that with the board system, because they have it in their heads. That they're gonna save all this money.
I think you'd be surprised about how passionately some people feel about the
Oh,
board.
some
system. I
people,
think the vote,
absolutely.
I think the vote would be very close if we gave it to the public. I think it would probably be right down the middle, but. But I'm not sure I feel comfortable making that decision.
When do we need the whole for the next election?
January 1st.
This coming January.
Everything has to be done, the bylaw, so what happens is a bylaw needs to be passed. Indicating that council wants to reduce, the number of councillors and abolish the ward system. Once that is done, it's, there's a public notice that is put out, I believe there's 15 days. And then there is an appeal period, after that, and I believe the appeal period is 45 days. So the 45 appeal period with no appeals, have to be, it has to be, done by December 31st of 2025. To be effective for the 2026 election. If it's not, then it goes into, if the appeal after that date. Does get settled or withdrawn or whatnot, and then, the bylaw still stands, it would be effective for the 2030 election. On that, no.
Just a question, Tammy, when is our next full mail to the whole municipality?
It's going to be probably next week.
I would suggest that if you're thinking about going down that route, it has to be, or it should be something that really gives people the opportunity to participate, and not just a mail out or a survey or something like that, but I think that if we could include it, if we choose to, if we could include that question as a on the ballot in the October 2026 election. For people to give their opinion, and then the next council will have that information to inform their decision.
So we could have information this year. If we do something this year, we could have that in place.
Yeah, I think our argument the last time was the cost of it. Is how to do that appropriately, like the cost.
We just eliminated half the cost, right? There's a mail next week.
Yeah, what I'm suggesting is I don't know that we'll get a good enough response. Everyone, I think every single person will be going to vote next October 26th. And that would give them the opportunity where they can check it off, yes or no, right there.
So your suggestion is do like a referendum?
Yes.
No, my suggestion is do it right now, but I'm saying, I can see that that's not the will of council, so the next best thing is to give the people, as Maureen suggests, the option. And if we're going to do that, I think we need to do it in a really meaningful way and not just mail something out that may or may not get,
And then we would have the time, the leeway to do meetings and information sessions, that we would have a little bit of leeway on that.
That might people urge to vote. Yeah.
Well,
Get our
definitely.
numbers higher, but maybe.
I also think with the process with it, or not the process, but the timeline that Tammy just mailed out. Or just read out. There's barely enough time, and if there's any appeal within that 2-month period, the 16-day notice and 45 days. That, that would automatically bump it to the 2030 election anyway, so why not do a fuller community consultation through a referendum on the ballot than try and rush something through right now. We clearly there's consent around the table.
Maybe if we put on the ballot. For the voters that, if they wanna cut back to 4 councillors instead of 6. Then the next question should be, do they wanna be one of those 4? See how many respond.
And any of them that do, I have some suggestions for you.
It's an eye opener.
It's certainly a mixed bag.
Oh, sorry.
This is a mixed bag.
It's up to you if you vote on.
But I don't want to hold on. Because I'm
Actually,
actually,
you know, because you will lose 9 cases for it was against it. And I don't have a problem with the way Bill was talking, that,
Having on the ballot.
yeah, I'm just afraid, like everything else around here, we wanna rush into stuff without doing it correctly and.
Well, if it's on the ballot, it's not rushed, so I guess that's lots of time,
That's right.
yeah.
I'm all game to vote if you wanna vote.
I'm sure you would. So, is there any appetite on council? I know it was suggested to do a referendum on 2026 election. A referendum, do a separate sheet. Is there any appetite to try and fast forward this to implement it into this year? For the next election?
I can only go claim we have 5 months.
I don't
Yeah,
think we
no.
have enough time, there's not enough runway to do that, in my opinion. All a dissenting person would need to do is on day 45, file an appeal. And that would push it to the next thing anyway,
Move the calendar.
and we wouldn't have the opportunity of engaging everyone in the conversation.
First. No vote. We'll revisit this with the game plan.
Well, I think Bill and Maureen's plan is the best one we've heard. Put it on the next ballot and let people decide what they want. And if you're voting, you see it there, you tick it, yes or no.
So would you vote for that tonight?
I would vote for that, yes.
And it would be a 2 question, do you want council reduced? Do you want the ward system? It would have to be a 2 question.
Do you think so? I think they have to go hand in hand.
And I think we have to sit and discuss this more because there's different options. A lot of places have gone with the mayor and a deputy mayor and 3 councilors.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think we can vote, we have to figure this
So
out.
could we give direction to come, or staff to look into how other municipalities have handled a referendum like this? What the options have been for people? So that they could come, I mean, could come back to us with maybe some options of what those questions would be on the ballot?
We don't need it today.
Yeah.
We're obviously not going to be doing that for the next election.
I think we're asking for the same thing, the mayor wants time to come back with a game plan, you're saying we need time for a game plan. That's
No,
the
they
same
did
thing.
just ask us if we're ready to vote.
Oh,
Yeah,
Only when I heard Carl perk up, that's all.
okay.
yeah. And I just think it would be good to know
But
what
I
those
think he-
options are
I
for
think he was
maybe come
fooling
back.
me. I think Carl was fooling me.
You can always say no when we vote you up.
I'm gonna defer this and so we bring it up. In September. So. Everybody good?
So that'll be 2026.
So are we getting,
2025.
Oh,
Are we giving direction to staff to bring us any more
Yes.
information?
Yes.
So let's be specific about that.
Okay, we'd like direction. And I think Ted brought up a good point, other communities, as far as the structure. And, yeah,
And since it's not a rush. Because we're not trying to hit this year, this calendar year. I'd say that it's probably best that we give staff an appropriate amount of time, that they define what an appropriate amount of time is to bring that report back. I know that this is the summer months and asking for it back in September might be a bit of a challenge.
that's not gonna happen. I think if we can, early next year, even then. You know, that's the question.
As soon as staff can do it.
Soon as,
As soon as staff can bring it back, report back. Thank you.
okay, well. Okay. Thank you everyone for the good discussion. Now we're going, maybe. Now we're going to vote.
Second by Ted Brown, motion to make it committee of the whole, be it resolved that the council will use the closed meeting is 1979 meeting spot 2001 as amended for the following reason. Personal matter of the identified on the articles and that including minutes for one of the also pending act of the motion of plan that we will have your report or the advice that is subject to justifying privilege or we will achieve this necessary for that.
All those in favor, here. Carry, yeah. Next second, your votes.
Hi, Mike.
Bye, Mike.
Night out. Thank you for coming.